Um, Good evening. Last May, I visited Raleigh of North Carolina with my colleagues from the American Chambers in Europe. And there I had the opportunity to get to know about the Wade Tech College at Raleigh, North Carolina, that has a very successful program in regarding technical education that made a strong impression to me. And now it's my pleasure to introduce Mr. Scott Ralls, who is the president of the Wake Tech Community College, who will talk to us about the program of the college and what it has accomplished so far. Mr. Ralls, it's good to see you again. I hope you remember when we met the last May with the American Chamber there.
Good
How
morning,
are you?
or it's good morning from the United States. It's great to see you again. It's an honor to be with you, and thank you for this chance.
Thank you for joining us. And I know that you have some slides to present to us. So I guess you can share with us or make a brief overview of what the college is about.
All right,
And, I have to inform also the audience here that you have 70,000 students,
we
if
do,
I'm not
we do,
mistaken, correct?
we do, and if you want to, I can just tell you instead of using the slides if that's easier. Yes, our college is actually the largest college in North Carolina, which is the 10th largest state in the United States. We are in terms of the number of students that we touch, so 70,000 students with 9 campuses, 2 training centers, and we have a unique history in North Carolina. We were created at a time when our state was among the poorest in the nation. In fact, we were the second poorest state in the United States. The people in North Carolina back in the 1950s made only about 2/3 of the wages on average of the United States. And it was our college was part of a big statewide effort to connect education to economic development and to essentially educate our way out of poverty by connecting very tightly economic goals for the companies and the industries we wanted to see in the future, going back 70 years ago, and creating and developing an education infrastructure to deliver that. And so we were a core part of that. And there are now 58 colleges like ours across North Carolina, as well as the very extensive 4-year universities, research universities that kind of create this ecosystem in North Carolina.
Great. Would you share with us, can you handle the slides or you
Yes,
want?
yeah. Let me go there real quickly. Just 1 second.
If
That
not, I can have my technical team to. Oh, okay,
is
good.
that working?
Yes, yes.
Okay, well, let me just work there. So Wake Tech, and one of the things that we believe, we're a little biased. I'm a little biased, but I think we're one of the most workforce forward, technology focused colleges in our sector across the United States. And we're also, and we can talk about this later, but I believe it's the most comprehensive opportunity college in the United States, meaning there's more doors to opportunity, particularly job opportunities at our college than almost, I think, probably any other college in the United States because of the way we operate. As I said, we have 70,000 students, 9 campuses. Just as an example, this is the 9th campus that we're building now. We focus very much on core sectors. Uh, Job sector. So this is our new engineering technology campus, which also has some advanced public safety education that we're offering. We're also, just to give you an indication of our extent, we're recognized as one of the top 150 online colleges in the United States, and that includes those that are fully online. We're ranked the number one community college in terms of online delivery and have more fully online degrees than any other college, community college in the United States. So we're quite an extensive college, but we grew out of different roots, as I say. Our Going back 70 years ago, again, our state was among the poorest in the nation, the second poorest state in the nation, and we had a unique governor at that time. He's shown in this picture, you see at the right bottom, that was trying to connect education as our way out of economic development. One of those ways was through a very unique economic effort to tie research and our great universities. We have 3 universities in our region Duke University, University of North Carolina, NC State, that form a triangle, and in between that essentially 20-mile triangle is now America's largest research-focused economic park, which was his vision. But he also had a vision of creating a system of technical training, which we grew out of. That was our roots, and so we've grown from this one facility providing technical training to what is now Wake Tech Community College, and all along the way, tightly connecting it to economic development. So when companies are new to our area or they're growing in our area, the technology companies where we want jobs, we're involved at the very beginning, developing free training for them and then creating programs and degrees to keep their workforce moving forward. Our role within this kind of unique education ecosystem, we say, is to be our region's ladder college. Our great universities, Duke, UNC, NC State, serve very much as a talent magnet for our region, pulling in people from around the country into our region for advanced education, 4-year education and graduate school. We have a different role. We're a talent ladder, and so we serve the people who come to our college. 70,000 grew up in this region. They grew up in our county or one of the neighboring counties, and our goal is for them to ladder up into these areas. So we're not as much of an attraction, but because we're the biggest ladder, we're the largest of all the colleges. And we take an approach that we sometimes refer to as ladder economics, laddering. Our initiatives are called Ladder Works, and really is trying to bring together the worlds of workforce training and workforce development, and then college degrees in the academic environment. Because for many of our students, we serve students from ages 16 to 80, but our average age is 26, and the majority of our students work. And for many of them, they are what we refer to in the United States as non-traditional students, because they don't go to college straight out of high school. For most of them, they're working adults. That's actually the most common form of college student in the United States now, even though we still use the term non-traditional. For many working adults, they need, as they're transitioning perhaps to another career or another job opportunity, they need something quick, something that will get them that job advancement quickly through oftentimes industry certifications, alternative credentials, what we often refer to as job training. But with just limiting to job training, that can be like a ladder with only the bottom rung. So we connect training to our academic degrees so that you can get trained for a certification recognized by industry that you can get a job with, but you don't just stop with that job, and you can come back into our degree programs and keep moving forward, and move up. And then we have special strategic relationships with our universities, so you can take these very practical degrees and walk them into university opportunities as well, and keep moving up. And that's what we refer to as laddering or ladder economics. Real quickly, and this is the last slide, I'll just give you an example. One of our key target areas is biotechnology and biopharma technology, pharmaceuticals. We're one of the leading regions in the United States in biotechnology, but we weren't always that way, and really came out of an education goal, the connection to Research Triangle Park. But just to give you an example of how laddering works for us with biotechnology, we now have 2 high schools in partnership with Wake County Public Schools, where our biotech degrees, we have 2 degrees, a biotech degree, which is lab-based, and a biopharma, which is pharmaceutical production, are part of those high schools. One of those high schools is on our RTP campus, so students come in the 9th grade, and they can also, students from around the region can take free college courses with us. So we try to become engaged with secondary students, high school students, students from the ages between 16 to 18, in these opportunities where they can start early and get accelerated. We have 2 campuses where we have advanced biotechnology centers, and where we have degree opportunities where they can keep moving forward into our very practical degrees. We have unique partnerships you see on the left with our university partners so that you can take those very practical industry-driven degrees but transfer them into the universities. And in fact, one university, East Carolina University, is co-located with us, so you can complete the degree on our campus. And then we share at NC State University, a very advanced teaching factory in biotechnology. So once you get your degrees, you can keep moving forward and getting the additional skills, good manufacturing practices, validation skills, and keep getting the advanced job skills to further your career after you get the degree. So from high school, I neglected to mention, we also have an entry point for working adults who have no biotechnology experience into a non-degree training program we call BioWork that we created in partnership with the North Carolina Biotechnology Center across North Carolina. And so that provides a quick entry into all of these programs for people who are transitioning careers. So when you put all that together, it becomes what we call a ladder, and our approach to ladder economics. So that's my sharing of those slides and kind of our approach to what we refer to as workforce development that's tightly tied to economic development at our college.
Well, I'm sure my the audience of this conference got let's say a taste of what the college is about. But I have a few questions for you.
Yes.
You just mentioned before that the majority of your students are already in work. They are
Mhm.
working, and somehow you have a kind of agreement with the business in the area in order they are paying themselves. Let's say this is the money for the college, or you have some agreements with the companies in further educating, their employees.
Well, in North Carolina, we were created as part of the state constitution to be and it's in our state constitution to say to be as free as practicable. So while our students, for the most part, pay tuition to come to our college or pay the training fees to come to our college, it is highly subsidized by our state government. So the tuition and the fees are very, very low, and are paid for the most part by students, in many cases by companies. It depends on whether the student is coming to us to switch careers if they're already working, or if they're coming to move up within the company. If they're moving up within that same company, often the company is paying those very low cost fees and tuition rates.
Um, do you have foreign students, or this the college is only for the North Carolina?
We do have foreign students, but um, we don't really go outside of our region, which is the metropolitan region of Raleigh, to recruit. So we don't recruit beyond our kind of boundaries. Our real goal is to, once people reach us, and we have a lot of students, we have immigrant students this year. We're seeing more students coming from Ukraine and other areas who will come to our region, but we really don't go out and recruit students. Truthfully, we have enough to address within our own region, and we're very focused just on our region, our county, which is the largest county in North Carolina, but it gives us plenty to focus on. So we focus on the jobs that are here, the jobs that are part of our economic goals, and our role is to help people who live here, however they came here, or live around here, move up into those jobs. So we don't really go out like some of the universities and recruit broadly.
What impressed me in your presentation when I was there is the fact that you mentioned something very important. You said we know that North Carolina attract many investments, many new businesses coming to the area,
Mhm.
and you said that okay, this business is the first thing that they ask besides is the labor force, the capable labor force, the people who know the job, and these are not only people who are, let's say, having a bachelor or master's degree or PhD. They are looking also for people with hands-on skills, let's say, and your college provides that. Is that
Ab- Absolutely. And that's our unique role in the economic. And when you put us together, particularly with our partners of NC State University, it kind of creates the complete picture. I'll give you an example. We have this year the largest contract biotech manufacturing company in North America announced they are building a very significant new facility in our county. But if you look at the jobs that they will be filling, Of those jobs, about a third are going to be in advanced engineering or management, but two-thirds are going to be more production technology. Now, that doesn't mean they won't, perhaps some of them gain four-year degrees along the way, but their education route is going to be a very practical, hands-on, and when we say hands-on, very advanced clean room-based manufacturing environment. But that's the skill set for us. It's the technician, the advanced technician role, and so we really focus on that sweet spot of advanced technicians. And when we're working with companies like this is Fujifilm Diosynth Biotechnologies or other companies. I know one of your sponsors is Cisco, and so we work very closely with Cisco when they created their site here. We also provide we develop training with those companies to help them get off the ground, and then to, when they're going through expansion periods, be able to hire quickly, in addition to our ongoing degrees and programs we create, so that they can constantly backfill their workforce. And our goal is for them to backfill their workforce with people from our region, that they don't have to look as broadly, but the people in our region can grow up in or educate themselves up into those opportunities.
So should we say that the educational model changes right now? Because I mean, like your college, there are other colleges also in the United States. Should we say that somehow that people don't need, to go to universities to get, let's say,
Mhm.
to study for years in order to get a job, or maybe they should go to college, or maybe they should go for work, having an apprenticeship there. There's also business that are offering, special courses within, their facilities, and then come to your college and get, an upgrade of their skills. Is somehow changed a little bit, the model that we used to know, the classic one.
Well, I think so. I think part of that's the problem, and I don't know as much in your country, but in the U.S., higher education has been, it is the solution to education opportunity, but it's also been part of the problem recently because of inflationary rates with higher education. I mean, only healthcare has had higher inflationary rates in the last 20 years in the United States than higher ed, and that's priced a lot of people out. And one of the big stories recently, Georgetown University did a study a couple of months ago, and the big story out of that was that at over 30% of America's colleges and universities, more than 50% of the student or the graduates 10 years later would have been better off not going, because what they were earning 10 years later was less than what they were paying to go to school 10 years later. And we're just the opposite of that. In fact, we rank in the top 20% of all colleges and universities in the United States in return on investment after 10 years, primarily because the prices to go were low. They're state subsidized, but the opportunities, an electrician, a biotech, and information technology are there. And within our region, the jobs are here. So we've kind of combined economic and education to make that possible. And one of the things we say is, you really shouldn't have to choose between either or. Sometimes job training is choosing to get the job quick, and college is developing for the long term. But for a working adult, college is inaccessible, and you need job training. And what we do with laddering is bring the two together. Why do you have to choose? Why can't you have job training that gets you a job, but it also builds credit into a degree? And then for us, laddering takes you beyond us. It takes you into a very coordinated approach with our universities.
So it seems to me that being there, I realized that there is a very strong partnership between the governance, the state of the governance, the private sector, and the academia, and the college, of course,
Mhm.
including. Is this the key, let's say, element in order, for let's say, for a region to become a very successful ecosystem, having, businesses growing for a sustainable growth, let's say.
I, I think it's the secret. I think it's our secret sauce. It's our special secret, or our secret ingredient, if you will. And the reason I say it, and part of that is cultural for us, because that goes back to how we were created. We were the leaders back at a time, truthfully, when we were kind of economically desperate. We did not have a strong economy, but we had been a state that had invested in education, and leaders brought us together and we grew out of that. That's how our institution was created. And it created a culture where, while we're competitive, like anyone else is competitive, we put aside competition for cooperation, particularly economic cooperation. and and that's where you see it come together. So, we were created by the government for economic purposes. We're funded. There's no question about whether or not that's part of our mission, part of our goals. There's no question about whether we should work together. And so that's why you see very unique things, I think, happen that you don't see in truthfully other states in the United States. So, I use that example of biotechnology. You have a high school that is operated by our public school system located on our college campus for biotechnology. We have a training center that we share with NC State University that's located on the engineering campus of the university. So, there are distinctions between who we are educationally, but those those boundaries between us are very porous, and it creates the opportunities for people to not just have to pick and choose at the beginning, or companies pick and choose, but to tie it all together and be able to move up as far as your talents and your persistence can take you.
Thank you. This is you just mentioned, the right word. It's a secret, the secret ingredients, as you just mentioned, and this is something that really we in Greece we are envy about it, because this is what we are seeking as a business community, as a business association. This is what we are advocating for. We advocate for a partnership between the state, academia, and the business sector. And actually, this is about the whole conference. How we can
Mhm.
have this partnership in order to attract investments, to develop our ecosystem. Mr. Ralls, thank you very much for being with us. I know it's early morning there, and really appreciate you being with us and sharing, your views, and also what the Wake Tech College. As I said, it was a very good surprise for me, and I wanted to share with my audience here of the conference. So
Yep.
thank you again.
Well, thank you. I appreciate this opportunity.
Thank you.